My Daddy's Podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And I'm sitting outside on my patio on this Thursday afternoon. Sun about to go down. You can tell daylight saving time just around the corner, man. I actually don't like this time of year, man. I don't know about y'all, but it's just like it seems like your day is just so short, and you be so tired like around 6:30, man. Especially like when the sun goes down around 5:30. I'm just not a fan of this time of year, but I am a fan of this type of weather. You know, it's pretty good weather, man. It's like, you know, in like the 70s. You know, right now it's like probably like about 68 degrees, so feels pretty good out here, man. But thank y'all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I know it's been a few days since I actually did a live stream, and I apologize for that. Been extremely busy, man, getting ready for Paxton's championship game coming up this weekend. And those that know, I'm part of an adult flag football league, so we have to practice there. So just been extremely busy, man, but I have been putting out content, and that's why I'm encouraging everybody to check out the 1 minute episodes, 2 minute episodes that I do here, just Saint shorts that I put out. So I really do appreciate the love and support people showing for those videos. I do want to mention the fine folks at MyBookie. MyBookie is the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast throughout 2025, and you can catch a really good deal, the $500 buy-in option that they have that is available. And you can also bet on some of your favorite teams. You make sure that you download the MyBookie app, use that promo code Saints, take a part in that buy-in option up to $500. If you lose $500 by betting, you can get that money back by selecting a buy-in option. So make sure that you do that. Use the promo code once again, Saints. All right, use that promo code Saints. But let's go ahead and get into it. Talk a little bit about Saints general manager Mickey Loomis. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already heard that Mickey Loomis had his little presser, his interview on WWL. And although we all know that ain't nothing but a fluff piece, and they're not going to ask him any tough questions or anything like that. It's pretty much going to be some soft ball type stuff. But Mickey Loomis went on WWL, and I have to say, he sounds like somebody that is not delusional this time around. I mean, somebody that has come to grips with what the football team actually is. And, I was actually impressed by what I saw. The fact that Mickey Loomis was able to call a spade a spade. It usually would be a case where, no matter what's going on, it just seems like he just doesn't understand what the fan base is feeling. He doesn't understand what's really going on the outside. But I have a few clips here that I'm going to play, and this is courtesy of After Further Review, and the link is down at the bottom, so you can check out the entire 13-minute video of my guy, Matt Moscona. So make sure y'all check it out, man. One of the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion, in a world of Louisiana sports talk, is Matt Moscona, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if I can live up to being half the broadcaster that cat is as a radio personality, I would have done something in my life. But let's go ahead and actually go through a few of these clips This is the first clip. Mickey Loomis just kind of just talking about the team being 1-6.
Well, it's hard to get by the record, right? Particularly if you're a fan, you have a lot of passion about your club, then being 1-6 isn't very much fun. It's not very much fun for us either. And I would say we didn't expect to be 1-6, but we also recognize that in a lot of ways this was going to be a development year, playing a lot of young players. We got a new coaching staff, trying to identify and develop a quarterback. So there's been a lot of good things, but again, it's hard to look past the results, like I said, especially if you're a fan of the New Orleans Saints.
So right now he's saying it's hard to look past the results, but a couple of years ago he was telling us to look beyond the results. So I don't know what to believe anymore when it comes to Mickey Loomis, but I'm just glad that he's not living in this world of delusion. I feel like now he understands that the team needs to do some things in order for them to get better. I'm still not a fan of him. I must say, I still don't feel like he's the guy that's going to spearhead this whole rebuild and have the Saints playing some relevant football. I still stand on my stance when it comes to Mickey Loomis. I just think that the New Orleans Saints are going to have a head coach that is going to be able to rise above Mickey Loomis' bad decision making. Mickey Loomis is the reason why the New Orleans Saints are in this position right now. But I got a few clips. I don't want to keep on going in. I want to make sure I get through all these clips. Here's another one.
I love the deep thinking, the intelligence of the group. I love the way that they're approaching each week. Look, we're trying to get better incrementally and not take steps back.
So he's talking about the coaching staff. He says he likes the way they think. And, I don't have an issue with the coaching staff that the New Orleans Saints selected with Kellen Moore. I think that Kellen Moore is the right guy for the job. I just think that Kellen Moore is out here trying to cook a good meal with great value ingredients right now. And, you got to make sure that you have the right pieces in place in order for your team to be successful. I just think that the Saints don't have enough horses in the barn right now to get it done. But Mickey Loomis, this is the final clip, and then I'll read some of your comments, and we'll just kind of expound on what we just heard. But this one is kind of just talking about the whole rebuilding process and what to expect.
Learning experience, and I think they just have to go through it. And there's growing pains, and you're hoping that you can be good enough in the run game, you can be good enough defensively and in the special teams to win a lot of games while you're developing the quarterback and you're waiting on his development. And so that hasn't really happened. That's the reason for the record. I think Spencer's made a lot of progress. He's done a lot of really good things. And the hardest thing to do in sports is be patient, while your guys are developing, but that's what we have to do. We don't have a choice.
Well, you did have a choice, Mickey. You had a choice back in 2020 at the end of that season when Drew Brees retired. And you honestly had a decision even before then when you had an opportunity to draft Jordan Love, but instead you rolled with Cesar Ruiz, who has been an absolute disaster at right guard. Look, you had choices to prevent this from happening, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it. And rather you just had this false belief in your team, or you didn't really realize how far you were. You are where you are right now because of the bad decision making. Now, the only thing that Mickey Loomis has going for him is the fact that he's the executive vice president of this football team. And he's not like your typical general manager that has to do a good job. And if he doesn't, then he's fired. Because we all know if that was the case, Mickey Loomis should have been fired years ago. It's pretty clear that he's been living off the reputation of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. And right now you don't have either one of those guys, and it's showing. So you got to hope that this whole Kellen Moore experience works out. You got to make sure that, that it is going to work out, because if not, Mickey Loomis is going to just lose more and more favor with the Who Dat Nation. I mean, I'm pretty sure people hear the outcries, and I don't just think that is just about what you hear on social media. Sometimes social media can create this world that we live in, and we think that that's the only world that matters, but it's not. You get off social media, you'll probably have a difference of opinion, but it doesn't matter where I go, rather I'm on social media or I'm in the street talking Saints football with some of the members of the Who Dat Nation. Everybody starts with the Saints need to get themselves a new general manager. They always start with it. So that's where it all comes down to. I don't know what Mickey Loomis is going to be able to do. What I do know is I like some of the young players that they have on this team. I think we all know that this is a rebuilding process. I don't think people are really just going in on the team and just, being extremely upset like this team was a playoff team or something like that. But my biggest anger and frustration comes from the fact that I don't feel like they're organized in some areas. And I think that comes down to coaching. When you can get guys organized and try to be there in the end, and let's just say you just don't win, then it is what it is. But when you're looking disorganized, when you're looking like you're outcoached, like it's just not a good look. And for the last couple of weeks, it just feel like the New Orleans Saints just shot themselves in the foot, and they were undisciplined and they weren't prepared in some cases. So there's that, man. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Saints are going to go anywhere as long as Mickey Loomis is the general manager. I think that people are just playing themselves. I just don't like the way the Saints operate in some cases. I don't like how they just hold on to players for so long. I don't understand like how people just feel like, you have to give a player a contract just because a player's been on your team and been a great humanitarian throughout the years. And, you hug them in a hallway, hug them on the field. Like, man, you got so many great players out here. I said this on the Saints short that I did today on Bleacher Report. They got so many great players that have been synonymous with franchises, no longer with those franchises. They moved on from them. I use quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Joe Montana as examples. It doesn't get any better than those three individuals and what they meant to their organization. Joe Montana was the quarterback of the 80s, but they moved on from him when they realized that Steve Young can lead them to the next level, or take them to the next level, rather. You had Peyton Manning. Like Peyton Manning, neck was, pretty much shot at the time. He felt like he can still play. The Indianapolis coach, Jim Irsay, may he rest in peace, made a tough decision and said that we're going to draft Andrew Luck. And, they moved on from Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning went on, won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. The Patriots did the same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady left, won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, right? But they moved on, and now they got Drake May and look like he's the real deal. All I'm saying is it is a very tough decision. We don't want to see some of our mainstays go because we value them, right? We love cheering for them. But if they give you value, right, if you can trade that guy and you can get some value to help your team go to that next level, get that cornerstone player to help your team be relevant for years to come, you got to be able to do it. And the organizations that make those type of tough decisions are the ones that always are standing there at the very end. Those that blink are the ones that's always on outside looking in. And the Saints right now, they're blinking way too much for my liking. So Mickey Loomis brought this situation on himself. No doubt about it. He brought it on himself. So all this stuff about we have to be patient. Look, like you forced the Who Dat Nation to be patient. You forced Saints fans to be patient because you didn't want to pull the trigger when it was necessary. And it's absolutely pathetic at the end of the day. Like watching Saints football is just downright pathetic right now, man, because this could have been completely avoided. And I think we all understand that. Like, this isn't one of those things where you didn't realize that Drew Brees was in his 40s, right? I mean, we knew that Drew Brees was on borrowed time when you started to see Taysom Hill kind of get triggered into the offense, throwing deep balls down the field, or, Jameis Winston in a game, in a playoff game, on a trick play to Traquan Smith. Like, you can see those type of things. Like, you knew it. Back in 2016, Drew Brees talked about how he thought about and contemplated retiring. And I'm pretty sure he didn't just have that with his wife, Brittany. He didn't just have that conversation with her. I'm pretty sure he had that conversation with the Saints organization because I'm pretty sure they talk to him and see how he feels every single year. And if Drew was feeling like that, I'm pretty sure he is going to be transparent. So that was the first time you could have had an opportunity to go ahead and try to figure out what you're going to do with life after Drew Brees, even if that meant a quarterback being drafted, sitting behind Drew Brees until he retires, just like Jordan Love did with Aaron Rodgers. And when Aaron Rodgers, stepped aside, left, right, went to the Jets, then Jordan Love came up and he looking pretty formidable as a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. You have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. You cannot make decisions just based on emotion. Now, you can make emotional decisions sometimes, right? I mean, it can be beneficial, but it shouldn't be the first It shouldn't be the first thought in your mind, like, how do I feel about letting this guy go? Oh, he gave me so many great years. It's a business. And right now, the New Orleans Saints aren't running their organization like it's a business. They're running it like it's a mom and pop shop. And mom and pop shops, as y'all can see over the years, they don't always last until they try to make some type of transition or do something different to make themselves competitive. I love that TJ is always honest. Black, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Monster says you're telling the truth, TJ. Ronald says they sure have drafted. They should have drafted Shedeur. I believe that's what you're trying to say. Look, man, I don't know. I don't know if they should have drafted Shedeur or not. I don't know what Tyler Shuck has to offer, but all I know is this is a day late and a dollar short. Like, these decisions that the New Orleans Saints are making, like, they should have been making these decisions 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody in this thing know it. And I think that's the most frustrating thing too. Not the product itself, because we kind of knew where we were going into 2025, but the fact that we're here and the fact that it could have been avoided if people just would have made some tough decisions to try to rearrange this organization. But right now, like, throwing hope out there and gaslighting fans, like that ain't the move. TJ, how big of a joke are the Saints, bro? Gail is losing the fans. Can't she see this? Look, I think that she can see it, but at the point, it's like, what can you do about it? What can you do about it? I mean, with all due respect, Gail Benson don't know nothing about no football. Like, she don't. Like, Gail Benson doesn't know anything about football. Gail Benson, like I said, with all due respect, would not be around football at all if she didn't marry the late Tom Benson. That's what puts her in this whole arena. Like, I don't like if you talk about breaking down offensive, defensive concepts or trying to what coach can bring this scheme to the table or to benefit the team. She knows nothing about that. Like, she relies on her advisors. But the problem is you only have one guy at the top, and that's Mickey Loomis. That's a football guy. Dennis Lauscher is a business guy, right? He's the guy that kind of just makes sure that the Superdome has a contract with the state and make sure, you got a nice little concrete slab, make sure nobody slip when they're going into the Superdome. That's his wheelhouse. Well, when you have Mickey Loomis, who is the ultimate football guy, and nobody else that can really challenge him because he's the guy that really truly knows the ins and outs of football, what can you do? What really can you do? Which is absolutely nothing, and hope that Mickey Loomis can get it right. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she sees that, but what can she do about it? What can she do about it? What can you do if a person like is drowned, you put them about at a beach, and you know what I'm saying, like, somebody like perform CPR. Like, I don't know CPR. Like, how can I save this person's life? Like, she doesn't know what she doesn't know. So how can she stop it if she don't know what she's doing? I mean, no disrespect, like, but I just know, like, she would not be around football if she wasn't married to Tom Benson. If that didn't happen. You truly on Breeze's Charger move on. Let's see. We better show some fight against the Bucks. Got Baker out here talking like Machiavelli to Don. Well, look, I think that, I think his comments, they should fuel a team, but at the same time, I'm like, man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers they're a better team than the Saints. Like, the Saints are going to have to, like, buckle down and play disciplined football to beat this team. It's just that plain and simple. Like, they lost 24-9 against the Detroit Lions, but the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC, if you ask me. So when it all comes down to it, like, they just got to bring their A game. Like, you can use this stuff as bulletin board material, but you got to go out there and you got to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to win a football game, because Baker Mayfield is a risk taker. He's going to throw things up. He's going to trust his wide receivers to make plays. And if the New Orleans Saints aren't disciplined enough in the secondary, if they're not disciplined enough when it comes to tackling, it's going to be a long day for them. Last time they came to the Superdome, we know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropped 51 points on them. And, the way that they're talking right now, they're going to want to do that again. So the New Orleans Saints better get their mind right, or they're going to be out here looking extremely bad and extremely off on Sunday. But hopefully they'll be prepared. Bro, the McCoy injury has the potential to set the rebuild back 2 to 3 years. He may be in the same spot Ram was in. His body isn't cooperating. Yeah, I mean it could, but that's one of the main reasons why you have to go out here and make sure that you're getting guys that that can come in and and also develop. Like you got to make sure that you're getting these offensive linemen that can come in that can probably give you a little bit of something down the line in case somebody goes down. Which I got to say, man, the New Orleans Saints, they did do a good job on the offensive line, all things considered, by getting depth, in places where they needed it. I think that Torres Simpkins did an okay job for a rookie. I think that Luke Fortner can do a really good job at center. I mean, this is an experienced guy, been around the league for quite some time. Not going to be as good as Eric McCoy. I mean, who is? I mean, this guy is arguably the best center in football. So when it all comes down to it, you just got to go out there and just do your best and play as solid as you can. But you also have to draft if you're the New Orleans Saints. Like Eric McCoy has been injured significantly over the last couple of years. So, I mean, fair or unfair, you got to make sure that you're compensating for that. And you got to think about the fact that there's a possibility where you might lose him for several weeks because you have lost him for several weeks over the last 2 seasons. You lost him for the year this season, and you lost him for the majority of the season last year. So you just gotta keep on doing what you're doing. Nev says, keep cooking, TJ. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Kellen Moore is going to have to separate himself from Brandon Staley to succeed. We already know about the buddy stuff. It doesn't get you far. I agree. I mean, Brandon Staley looking terrible, but, you could ask the question, is he looking terrible because the Saints don't have talented enough defensive players? Like, let's have a conversation, man. Like, I'm all for guys, like, if they're not doing what they need to do, then you need to find somebody else. Like I'm always going to advocate for that. But we also have to put this thing into context as well. Like, why is he looking like slaw? Why is he looking like trash? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that? Like, does he have enough horses in the barn? Do they have enough talent around him in order for him to be able to do his job effectively? Like, you need talent, folks. Like, it's not always about scheming X's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes it's about Willies and Joes instead of X's and O's. Like, if you don't have a guy that can beat anybody, you know what I'm saying, to the edge, then guess what? I mean, you're going to struggle in the run game. If you don't have a big old run stuffer, like, you're going to struggle in a 3-4 defense. If you don't have cornerbacks that can cover consistently, like, you're going to have liability in the secondary. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, we all can see that the Saints are limited when it comes to talent. So, I mean, we can say like things and make arguments about, oh, well, look at the San Francisco 49ers. They lost Fred Warner, they lost Nick Bosa, and look how they're still playing. But you still have arguably one of the best coaches on the defensive side of the football. Well, not even arguably, in my opinion. You have a really good defensive coach in Robert Saleh that can scheme up guys. And then it's just the way that they draft. Right, they draft those hybrid type linebackers, man, and they just kind of rotate them out. You don't really hear about those guys because Nick Bosa and Fred Warner kind of dominates, and De'Amelo Lenore, like guys like that, like they kind of dominate, the press clippings when it comes to what makes the defense go. But they have a lot of talented guys out there, man, and they rotating cats, to be able to come in. The Saints don't have that, and we know that. So some guys can, make things happen when they're the elite of the elite when it comes to play calling with Kyle Shanahan, or elite as a defensive play caller in Robert Saleh, but Brandon Staley is not an elite defensive coordinator. So you're going to need some pieces around you. It's kind of it's the same thing with Brandon Staley, what's going on with Kellen Moore. Like, Kellen Moore needs talent around him. Like, if the Saints can get some talent, like real true talent, some dogs, offensive line intact, wide receivers intact, like, he can scheme that thing up, and the Saints will put up a lot of points. The Saints just don't have a lot of talent to put up a lot of points, and defensively they don't have the right guys to be able to be that formidable shutdown defense that everybody wants them to be. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for Brandon Staley, but it's just the reality, man. Like, they're not good enough on the offensive side or the defensive side for us to just be sitting up here talking about a person can't do X, Y, Z. Mickey putting it on Gail, ain't no way he got 2 titles. Well, his 2 titles actually come from Tom Benson. When Tom Benson passed away in 2018, in his will, he left Mickey Loomis as the executive vice president of the football team and third in command of the decision making. So that was Tom Benson. That wasn't a Gail Benson thing. That was a Tom Benson thing. What's up, TJ? I think the front office template of the 49ers is a good example to emulate. We need someone who plays the game and knows the ebbs and flows of an NFL front office too. I mean, big bro, you not only the 49ers, but the Ravens, Vikings, like teams like that, man, they just do a really good job in the front office. And y'all may not want to hear this either. Tampa Bay over the last couple of years has done a really good job with their front office, understanding what they need. Also, just basically finding depth pieces because, they understand that their core players like Levante David and, Mike Evans, those guys are getting up there in age. So you got to be able to compensate for that, man. Like we can't be afraid to draft a guy at a certain position because we worried about what our veteran player may feel. Like if you're a dog, no matter who you bring in, right? You know that you're going to have what it takes in order for them not to take your spot, right? It didn't matter. To me, the biggest example I can tell a person or show a person or demonstrate is about Pierre Thomas. Like Pierre Thomas was a dog. Like it didn't matter. Like Pierre Thomas was an undrafted guy out of Illinois, had no business getting as much time as he has, but the Saints tried desperately, try to find somebody that can possibly be better than Pierre Thomas. Reggie Bush, he couldn't do it. Even Reggie Bush couldn't do it. Like it didn't matter. Pierre Thomas' spot was solidified. No matter who they brought in, Pierre Thomas made himself undeniable. Like point blank period. Like you can't worry about what these other players are thinking. Like, oh man, they've been here for 15 years. I can't draft them. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, man. It's about evolving and revolving, right? I mean, the NFL is a revolving door. Think about this, man. Think about when you first started loving the New Orleans Saints. Think about the players that were on the team when you first fell in love with the New Orleans Saints. Now look at this team now. Are those players that you fell in love with, are they still with the team? No, they're not. The wheels keep turning, ladies and gentlemen. I know people have this dying allegiance to these players, and I get it. I have nothing but respect for them. I know sometimes, I'm extremely critical of them, but I got nothing but respect. It is not easy playing football, man. It is not easy, catching a football that's being thrown at you at 50, 60 miles per hour. It's not. I get all that. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're putting the pieces in place to have stability for years to come. You got to always be looking. I don't care if Chris Olave had a 1,700-yard season. I'm still looking for another wide receiver that can go alongside of. I'm still looking for a wide receiver that just in case something happened to Chris Olave, he's going to be out there and my offense not going to miss a step. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about this mom and pop shop type mentality that they have going on. I think that a lot of their decisions or lack thereof come from their love and their loyalty to players. And sometimes you got to have more love and loyalty for your organization. And that don't mean that you don't appreciate the players, and that don't mean that you treat them like a piece of garbage. But like I said, the NFL is a results-driven business. It's a results-driven business, man. It don't matter what you did last year. You can be a 13, 14-win team last year and be a 7, 8-win team the next year. It's about what have you done for me lately. You got to keep on trying to reinvent your team and trying to make your team better at key positions. If we were to move on from Staley, who would be a coordinator you would want to bring in? I would have to look around the league and see, man. Because teams ain't just giving up no top-notch defensive coordinators like that. They just not. They're not giving up that. So I would have to look around the league. Aaron Glenn going to get fired soon. LOL, get him. I don't think so, man. Not the way that Woody Johnson talking, the owner of the Jets. I don't think he's getting fired anytime soon. And I just, man, when I look at Aaron Glenn, I got nothing but respect for the guy, but at the same time, I just feel like his type of coaching may not be able to translate to the NFL. Now, I could be wrong, but I just feel like it's more like that college coach type vibe, man. He's trying to put so much emphasis on certain things. He wants to make people feel like he got everything in control. And I don't know, man. I don't know if these players that they have on his team like really are like buying into what he's trying to do. So I don't know, man. But I mean, Woody Johnson is one of the worst owners in football. Like, we already know that this dude didn't end up trying to go after Jerry Jeudy because his son said his Madden rating was low. Like, they looking at Madden ratings to determine who's gonna be a good player on your football team. When you're doing stuff like that, that's the reason why your team always sitting in purgatory. That's the reason why your team always trash. And I know that's the pot called the kettle black these days when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. But the New Orleans Saints have had way more prosperity in the last 2 decades than the Jets have. Jets struggle to find quarterbacks, stability at the coaching position. I remember I talked to a wide receiver on this show not too long ago, man, a couple of years ago. And he said that the Jets were the worst ran organization he ever been a part of. That's what he said. It came out his mouth. He said that was the worst organization that he has ever played for. He said they did not know what they were doing. And when you look at some of these quarterbacks that lead the Jets and find prosperity, like Sam Darnold and what he's doing out there in Seattle, I mean, it just shows you, man, they don't know what they're doing out there. Like, they don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, when it comes to Aaron Glenn, I just think that I just think that he's more of that rah-rah college coach. Atlanta too. Yeah, Atlanta, they're doing a pretty good job when it comes to their front office. Terry Fontenot has been doing pretty good. People have been calling him a madman, but every decision he seemed like he's been making over the last couple of years seemed like it's been beneficial. Take that JSU stuff off from a Southern grad. Nah, I'm just joking. What's up, TJ? Oh, man, we will never take off the JSU stuff, man. We already know who running that swag. We already know that, man. Look, man, but I feel bad for Southern, man. Maybe one day y'all beat Jackson State again. What, it's been about 9 years. About 9 years since y'all beat JSU, man. Look, maybe one day, man, y'all be above 500 again. You know what I'm saying? We about to go out here, put them foots in Grambling this weekend in Las Vegas. Y'all know how it go, man. Gonna go out here to Vegas, put foots in them boys on our way to that Celebration Bowl. Y'all already know what it is. Man, that plane flying low, man. Y'all see that plane in the background? Nah, man, I don't live that far from the airport, so you can see like airplanes like starting to slowly start to land out here. That thing look low. Let's see. Thomas' screen pass was unstoppable due to his heart on the field. Yeah, man, I still think they got the greatest screen runner I've ever seen, especially in Saints history. He beat Pittman out. Yep. And they wanted Pittman to be that starter too. What you think we do in the draft with a top 5 pick? I don't know, man. I mean, you can go in so many different directions. You can get Reuben Baines Jr. Me personally, man, look, I like Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana. I know some people don't want to keep on going down this road yet again, but look, if you feel like this is just a rebuild and a stop to prosperity, then you may not be in the same position again. You got to make sure that you're drafting that guy that's going to be that cornerstone player. And if you don't have that in your quarterback room, then guess what? Like, no disrespect to Spencer Rattler, no disrespect to Tyler Shuck, but if you feel like this guy can be your franchise quarterback and he can lead you to the promised land and have you playing like something and adding some stability to the position, then guess what, man? You draft that dude. The Saints having TJ. That's why I told you Mickey keep on this team is going to be at the bottom of the division every year because all the teams in the South drafted better than the Saints. Well, I have to say, man, I think the Saints drafted better this season. Like, I don't see too many guys that I feel like cannot help the New Orleans Saints in the future. I mean, we seen like Quincy Riley where he had an interception last game. We see Danny Stutzman. He was among the top linebackers with tackling. He had 6 tackles in a game. I think Devin Neal is going to show a lot of promise now that he's going to get more reps and going to be a part of that rotation. I like this. I like this group, man. Kelvin Banks, one of the best young offensive linemen in the league right now, according to Pro Football Focus and Analytics. So I like this. I like this draft class, man. I think that a lot of people don't really put that much emphasis on the draft class because of Tyler Shuck. That's just what it all comes down to, because people feel like, respectfully, like the quarterback position is more important than anything that you put out there. But at the same time, it's like this is a pretty form. This has been the best draft class I've seen the Saints have in a minute, right? I mean, Vernon Broughton, I mean, he ended up getting hurt and out for the season, but I think that he might be able to bring something to the table. Let's see. Aaron Glenn is not a good man. Well, I don't know him personally, man. I mean, I talked to him a few times, and he's always been good to me, man. So I can't say I don't know him like off the record. I mean, I met him. He seemed like a nice guy to me. He was always kind to me. Loomis is the GM of the Saints and the director of basketball operations for the Pelicans. Now think about the talent of both rosters. Yep. Mickey Loomis ruined his team, TJ. Every NFL team laughs at the Saints, a team to lose 3 in a row. Once they see the Saints on the schedule for the next week, they all happy and smiling. Yeah, man, it's like 1992 all over again around this thing. 93. Like, well, you know you about to get a dub on the New Orleans Saints. Didn't know that owner looked at Madden rating for real life. Nah, his son did. Like he kind of had a conversation with, man, I want to say his son like 16 or 17 years old. And they were thinking about getting Jerry Jeudy, and his son was like, no. It's like, you see his rating on Madden, and they decided not to pull the trigger, which is asinine. Let's see. You calling the game tonight, TJ? I'll see, man. I'll see if I actually have some time. I got something I have to work on with Paxton a little bit later on. So I have to see how long that's going to take. It's a little project that you have going on. Like how Devin Neal pass block as well while we're 1-6. That shows a lot. He's a smart football player, man. He's a smart football player. I just hope that he just lives up to that potential. I think he's going to be a fan favorite. I think he can be like that next big time running back for the Saints. Why is it that every team in the NFL, their pass rushers get immense pressure, but it's as if we never get pressure? Bruh, it's also like running a football too. Like you see these teams that be struggling to run a football, they still like have a player that can get 25, 30 yards on the run. It's like the New Orleans Saints struggle to get anything, struggle to get passing yards, struggle to get rushing yards, struggle to block, like just whole team that look like struggle, man. And like I said, I watch a lot of football. I don't just like sit up here and just watch Saints football and be like, oh man, because I always tell people like you got to look around the National Football League. You got to pay attention to the other teams that are around you, because sometimes like you can get tunnel vision and locked into this Saints world where you just feel like it's only happening to you. You got to go out here and see, man. And I'm telling you, like I look around the league and I'm telling you right now, I see teams that look like straight hot garbage week to week and still can run the football, still get a big time run in a game. I don't see that for the Saints at all. Like it's like a big time game for the Saints is 8 yards, and that's just sad. That's just sad, man. I'll never forget when Whitner knocked out Pierre Thomas, and that was the biggest reason I thought we lost. Yeah, Pierre Thomas. Yeah, we knocked him out in that game. I got a nickname for you, TJ. TJ Halves, because you always come in and call games when the game half over already. Well, look, that's when the time is most exciting. You know, that's when it's most exciting. It was the second half, you know. So that's when the team started to buckle down and, start to like really try to, zero in on it. Let's see, TJ, what's up with Kamara this year? Is it due to running that same draw play or running to the same side of the field? I don't know, man. It just ain't working out for me when it comes to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara look slow and washed, and I know that ain't the case. Right now you're looking like the tiptoe burglar. Yeah, I was calling him tiptoe burglar because he tipping through the holes and stealing money right now, and I know that ain't the case. Will O-line hold up without McCoy? I think that's going to be a huge difference, bro. I think that's going to be a huge difference. Eric McCoy is a difference maker. He's the one calling out the protections and making life easier. I think that the sack numbers probably going to go up for Spencer Rattler, especially if Spencer Rattler was counting on Eric McCoy to call out those protections sometime. Let's see. Do you think the Lions will get there this year? I hope so, man. I hope they do. I think they got the right guy calling their defense and Calvin Shepard. I think Calvin Shepard is a better defensive coordinator than Aaron Glenn was. And I think that the team is playing inspired football. It seems like they're getting on the right track. And I'm excited about what I'm seeing from the Lions. Like I like watching the Lions play. Like the Lions remind me of the New Orleans Saints teams. Like, when back in 2006, when the Saints started to be relevant again, and the crowd just got into it. The fans were just so excited. Like, they remind me of those Saints teams. And like, man, unless they playing the Saints, like, why would you cheer against the Lions? I mean, they're basically similar to the Saints, like the people, like of Detroit, like just people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, taking their hard-earned money, going to the game, like just trying to find some glimmer of hope, in a city that, that's kind of poverty stricken, what I'm saying? A lot of issues that be going on economically. And one thing, that there's a chance that your team, the Lions, can go out there and get it done for you. So look, I respect the Lions, man. I like seeing them play. I like to see the offensive innovation. I like the talent on the football team. I like the confidence that those guys play with, and I like the coach. He seems like, he instills that he demands excellence from his team. And I think that, that's the reason why this team is so successful right now. This is why I like it here. We all love Kamara, but this year, not one big play. It got to be play calling. Know his heart there. Yeah. I don't think they're utilizing him the same. Like, I don't think they're utilizing him correctly at all. Like, you don't see wheel routes, you don't see angle routes, you don't see screens or anything like that in a Kellen Moore offense. And I don't know why. Like, they running Alvin Kamara like he Earl Thomas back, it's not Earl Thomas, Earl Campbell rather, in the 80s or something like that. Like, it's not, it doesn't fit his skill set, man. And sometimes, man, you can't just keep on trying to make somebody work in your system. Sometimes you got to understand what a player does and try to scheme around, and try to create like schemes and concepts that can be beneficial to him. Because as of right now, like you're not doing a service to your offense or Alvin Kamara. Because right now, like I said, he just basically just tiptoeing through the hole right now. That's it. Detroit been the most dangerous city in America for like 50 years. Let's see, more dangerous than Chicago or St. Louis? Nah, you're right about that. Kamara prime has been wasted. He should already be in a GOAT conversation, but he ain't, because he's been misused for 5 years. Yep. It kind of just remind me of Christian McCaffrey. Like, if Alvin Kamara went to another team, let's just say if he went to the Chiefs or something, like, you'll see a different version. If he went to the 49ers, you'll see a different version. Seattle, different version. Like, it's just the Saints. But the thing about it is, like, he's so loyal to this football team. And, man, I got mixed emotions about that. Like, I really do, man. And I'm going to tell y'all why. And this may be considered controversial, man, but I don't care, man. Like, I feel like when you're a football player, winning should just be the ultimate thing. Like, losing games should be like somebody like cutting off your air supply. Like, losing should be like somebody like starving you. And I just don't understand, like, okay, this team ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, seriously. Like, we can sit up here and pretend, and we can play the PC role and all that kind of stuff for the media, but man, this dude know this team ain't going nowhere. And the fact that you want to sit up here and kind of deal with that, I have to wonder why. Like, is it because you're just that loyal to a football team, or is it the fact that you know that you're going to be Alvin Kamara and nobody really going to ask you for anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to demand much for you because of who you are and what you did in the organization. So I got mixed emotions about that, because I'm just wondering, like, okay, you're not going anywhere, as a player on the New Orleans Saints. So why wouldn't you want to go to another team if they was to say, okay, man, we want to send you to, I don't know, we want to send you to the Packers, to be a compliment to Josh Jacobs or something like that. Like, that there's a chance, like, by adding you might be able to go to the Super Bowl or something. But instead, you want to sit here and chill and, sit in the locker room and lose every game, tiptoe through the hole. Like, I don't know, man. So I got mixed emotions about that. Like, I just feel like, if, I don't know. I got mixed emotion about that. It don't seem like that's the most important thing to him. TJ, I think Saints are cool with losing now. I think they are. I mean, I said that at the beginning. I said it just seemed like this team already know where they are and who they are, and they just not saying it. But we hear Mickey Loomis come out here on WWL basically telling us what we already pretty much knew at the beginning of the season, which is this team is not very good. It's all about who pays you, TJ. Yeah, it is all about who pays you. But at the same time, look, it comes a time like when you making a substantial amount of money, right? You're a competitor. It comes a time if you're making a substantial amount of money that it's just not, it's just not going to be the only thing. Like if you can buy everything that you want, go anywhere that you want, there are going to be other things in your life that you're going to value more. And me as a competitor, like I'm super competitive. Like you know what I'm saying? I don't like losing anything. Like I'm just extremely competitive. If I feel like it ain't beneficial to me, man, something gonna have to change. And I just don't know, man. Like sitting up there, like sitting and chilling off in the locker room somewhere, getting 2-3 yards of carry, getting your head bashed in, you know what I'm saying? Not getting no yards and then saying I'm happy here. Like, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if winning is the ultimate thing for a guy like Alvin Kamara, which I don't have no problem with that. Like, if that's just his personality, but I'm just saying, sitting up in there just want to lose and running yourself into the ground for absolutely no reason whatsoever, just because I just want to be here. Like, why is it? Like, this team ain't going nowhere. This team ain't like that. We know that the New Orleans Saints are not going to make it to the Super Bowl before Alvin Kamara like retires. Like we just know that. Like it's probably going to happen afterwards. So why are you just sitting up here like that's just me. That's just me. Like I'd rather sit up here and retire. Like, bro, you ain't never won nothing. And like I said, this is about legacy. Like, how are you going to be remembered? But maybe, like I said, that's just not him. He always had like a personality, in my opinion. Like football is what I do, is not who I am. But when you look at somebody like Cam Jordan wants to be in New Orleans, but at the same time, like you can tell, like Cam Jordan wants to win at like more than anything. I don't get that from Alvin. Like I don't. I don't get it from him. Maybe y'all do, but I don't. Ain't nothing wrong with Alvin. The offense and line can't keep their blocks, and the coach not calling plays is Kellen Moore. I guess you mean Kellen Moore. But look, it may be, man, but all I'm saying is if I was in that position, I don't think I would just be like so quick to be like, man, I want to stay here. I mean, he always like, man, who would get mad? Like, seriously, who would get mad at Alvin Kamara if they were like, Alvin Kamara like gets traded to whoever? Like, thank you, AK, and we're gonna be cheering for AK wherever he go. But like I said, man, I don't like when it comes down to things that are value. I don't think that. I think comfortability is like the most important thing to a guy like Alvin Kamara. Like, I don't think legacy or accolades or none of that stuff like really matters to him. I mean, maybe that's just one of the ways that he's wired, but man, if I want to do something, I want to do something to the best of my ability. And I damn sure want to be remembered. Like, I don't sit up here like do these podcasts just be like wasting my time. Like, I want like 10, 15 years, like when my son get older, and he go back and be like, man, let me go check out my dad's stuff. I want to be legendary when it comes to like in a world of like podcasting. Like, I don't want to just be sitting up here just be doing show after show after show, and that just like, oh man, I'm good. Like, I'm happy about it, but at the same time, like I'm always trying to find ways to elevate myself. I'm always trying to find ways to be creative. I'm always trying to find ways to separate myself from the pack of other people that's actually doing this type of stuff. And I just feel like if you're not doing that, then what the hell are you doing it for? Like I said, money is cool and all that kind of stuff, man. But when you can buy everything that you want, do anything that you want, I just believe that it has to be more than, just getting bread. It got to be about more than that. Let me take a few more and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, folks. TJ, AK is a fan favorite, but his lack of effort is alarming. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, I just think that, you know, and some people are going to look at this and get upset because they think about Alvin Kamara on an emotional level. I don't think of players on the emotional level. Like, I watch the Saints, but I don't have like an emotional attachment to a player to a point where I feel like, okay, if I can move this player, you know, the Saints can trade this player and get some draft capital for him, then, you know, like, man, like anybody that know me know I was a big time Marshawn Lattimore fan, right? I mean, hindsight's 2020, but when they decided to like trade him, I was like, man, like that's crazy. But I understood. Like, there's a guy who was dealing with hamstring injuries, you know, in and out of the lineup. And, you know, for the most part, they pretty much won that whole trade deal. I don't get emotionally attached to these players, man, because look, it has to be beyond like, well, I just seen them in Rouse's, they took a picture with me. I don't like, man, I don't care if a player never take a picture with me. It's about like, okay, how productive are you on the field? What is your value? Are you living up to that value? And you know, if things got to go in a different direction, then that's what you got to do. AK got NASCAR stuff to do in January. LOL. He loves that his season done in December. I heard Drew Brees was trying to become part owner of the team. Is that true? I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't heard anything about that. We'll always have the game where AK scored 6 touchdowns against many. Yeah. I think that was on Christmas Day, if I'm not mistaken. I think AK is is more concerned with life after football, and I don't know that I can be mad at that. I'm not mad at it at all. You know, like I said, you look, the things that are important that of value, you know, like family and you know, making sure that you are setting yourself up for, you know, to be able to have a life outside of football. Yes, that is important. But to me, as a football player, as a competitor, I don't feel like there should be anything more important to me than winning football games and leaving a lasting legacy behind. That is what I feel like that should be valued. But you know, like sitting up there, old man, counting my bread, like, well, that's good, right? Because you know, you want to count your bread, but you also have to think about it. You got that bread because of the effort and the energy you put into being a very, very best at your craft. Would y'all rather have Lattimore right now or Kool-Aid? I would rather have Lattimore. I would. I would rather have Lattimore right now. I don't think. Looking at Lattimore, that scheme that they run, like it's not beneficial to him. Like if Marshawn, I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna happen. But if Marshawn Lattimore ends up like getting released by the Commanders, and let's just say he go align himself with Dennis Allen in Chicago again, you're gonna see a better version of Marshawn Lattimore. It's the scheme that they playing. Like it's the scheme that they running out there. And then on top of that, man, like look, dealing with them hamstring injuries, dealing with some of these injuries that he has had in his career, you know, those things catch up with you, man. Lattimore is straight burnt biscuit because sweet mother Jesus. Yeah, it's that scheme, man. It's the scheme that they're running out there. And it's also the fact that, I mean, he had his fair share of injuries. He was guarding team's number one wide receiver, Lattimore. He's getting up there in age, and his skills is eroding. Smart trade, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, man, them hamstring injuries, man. Look, them hammies, them growing injuries, man, they catch up with you. They catch up with you. Lad Hart isn't in it just like Kamara. I just, man, it's a completely different beast, man. When you go into those bigger markets, man, it's a bigger beast. It's a bigger beast, man. Agreed. We also said Allen, great defensive coach. Look how he hurt us last week. Yeah, like he would not look like that if he was in Chicago with Dennis Allen. He would not. TJ, do you believe Coach Moore will find success with the Saints, or is he offensive DA? I think he can find success. I think he can find success, but I think that he needs a bad cop to his good cop. And I'm thinking like Brandon Staley might have to be a casualty of war. Like they need it's too many even kill cats inside of that organization to me, man. Like you need somebody that's kind of gonna be that bad cop to your good cop. So I think they need like a fiery, energetic, like type defensive coordinator to kind of counteract what Kellen Moore is as a as a head coach. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. But I want to say thank you all for checking out this edition of the State of the Saints podcast. I hope that you all enjoyed it. There was a little kickback, chill vibe on this episode. It wasn't really on some rah-rah stuff today, but just wanted to give you all a live stream. Hope that you all enjoyed it. And if you did, I ask that you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Also, previous episodes are available right here on YouTube. You can go and check it out. Also, you can check out the State of NFL podcast on the NFC South Roundtable, and follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I gotta say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who dat?